press conference area.
What are you doing here?
All right, so we're going to have Coach is going to give an opening statement, and then the student athletes will take questions. So raise your hand. We'll get that microphone to you. Once the student athletes' questions have completed, we'll release them back to the locker room, and Coach will stay here and finish the job. How's that sound?
Great.
All right, you can start the job now.
All right, that sounds great. Obviously, we're thrilled to be able to come out, and I thought we set the tone from the tip. Obviously, we've been off for about a week, so it took a little bit in that first 4 or 5 minutes to get our feet under us. But just I thought defensively, we were really aggressive and we're able to turn them over for a lot of turnovers on the defensive end. Offensively, just love the 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio as a team, just spreading the wealth, being really, really unselfish. Bree has, shared with her the first time we played Illinois to tonight. There's something about being from Chicago and liking to play against Illinois. Just I thought it was a very contagious energy that she was able to provide for us off the bench. But I can't say enough about Shauna and their staff and Illinois. I hope they make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Their job's done. Their staff has done a terrific job this year, and obviously we're thrilled about continuing on.
Okay, we got a question here for student athletes.
Bree, we're going to start with you. You kind of had that look in your eye like Northwestern again today. What was working so well for you, and how dangerous is this team when the bench is kind of clicking like you guys were today as a whole?
One thing I can say, once I came on the floor, I just wanted to bring a spark on defense. That's one thing I can do, and just doing whatever Coach B needed me to do or the team. And once we're clicking on the bench, is like amazing. This team can do anything that they put their minds to. So just sticking together has been a good thing for us.
For both players, in such it's like a really solid game. Charlie Cream tweeted out the other day that Maryland could be in tension for a #1 seed. If you could, I don't want to make you critique the game too much, but what do you think are some areas maybe you guys could maybe get even better in to kind of like elevate the team even further?
Yeah, I think we're a great team, but there's always something to get better at, and defense wins games, right? I think today our defense held strong for most of the 40 minutes. But as we play bigger teams down the stretch, right, we got to figure out ways to get those defensive rebounds and box out. And I think that's something we work on every day in practice is sticking to our principles of boxing out, checking first and then getting the ball and, no middle drives, right? So I think defense is going to be our priority in wanting to get better down the road.
Another thing, just to piggyback off of what Abby said, defense wins games. So we come in and just have our defense set the tone. That's just gonna set out the game, because once we get the defense rolling, everybody start clicking. So once we do that, we're perfectly fine. So I say defense.
Hey guys, question for Bree. Noticed throughout the game you just had a smile on your face the entire time. So how did it feel to not just have a great game, but to have a great game in your first college tournament and just be in a tournament setting for the first time?
It felt great. Just knowing that I can contribute to the team and to the win. Just love being out there with them. They push me every day in practice, push me to get better. So just doing what I need to do that I do in practice on to transfer over to the game. So once I did that, I felt like we were perfectly fine. So once I did that and Coach B was telling me that, good job, I knew I was doing something good. So I was like, okay, let's go.
Mr. Damon Brooks on the Zoom call, would you unmute your microphone and ask your question, please?
Hey, ladies, congratulations on the victory. Bree, you took a charge in the fourth quarter up 21. What went into your ability just to keep playing in the fourth quarter and continue to play defense for your team?
I have to play. I can't just play for like a set time. Like I gotta make sure I play full game. It's not 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It got to be a full 40. Even the time that I'm on the bench, I got to try to give energy. So just being out there and being like the energetic person I can be did a good thing for us. So, hey, I think I'm doing something right.
And then Abby, you know, you were comfortable making plays off the ball, you know, off one leg, fadeaways, get into the lane. How often do you work on your game, you know, with different finishes and finishing at the rim?
All the time. Yeah, I think you really have to continue to be versatile, right? Especially as you get later into the season. People know your scout, know what you're capable of. And for me, I just try and be as unpredictable as possible. Work on when the three-point shot's not falling, I can always rely on the pull-up jumpers, the post-ups. So, I just try and keep my offensive game fresh.
Thank you.
We'll come back to the room here.
Yeah, for both the players, there was a point in the second half where Illinois called a timeout, and the coaches did their own thing, and the players kind of created their own huddle. What's discussed in that players-only huddle, and what do you guys kind of talk to each other about? What your game plan or motivation really?
Sometimes it's a mess, honestly. You got people talking just because the adrenaline's rushing, and but it's just really positive things, right? Usually it's about the most recent play that we had or what we need to improve on in the coming minute or so. But we're just trying to be as positive out there and motivational as possible because it's a big stage that we're on. We're having a lot of fun, but we gotta lock in and take those timeouts, as little gifts, right, to kind of reset and regain our momentum.
Sometimes we just don't know what to say. We just sit there. But hey, we came together, talked about it, and we just moved on. One thing that I can say we gotten better at was not thinking about the last play. We just moved on. Because if we think about the last play, it's just not going to end well for us. So once we move forward, we good. That's all that matters.
We have Dylan on the Zoom call. Dylan, would you unmute your microphone and ask your question, please?
Hey, this one's for Abby. There were a handful of plays today that really demonstrated the team's IQ. Shy throwing the ball off the player's back. Faith making a big hustle play, diving, and somehow that the ball stayed in play. How often does this team's IQ impress you as one of the leaders of the team?
I think that's just people being playmakers, right? Knowing the game, playing the game long enough. And we're all very capable basketball players. We know the right play from the wrong. Sometimes we make the wrong play still. But, it's a constant learning, just learning process for us. And it's always fun to see fun little things like Shy with the off-the-back layup. And, Faith, she's our glue, so she's always doing the dirty plays. But, we're just going to keep using that IQ, right, and keep winning.
Thanks, Ab.
Yeah.
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Dylan.
All right, we'll let the student athletes go. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a question here.
Hey, Brenda.
Hey.
I wanted to ask about that defense, specifically the three-point defense today. That was an Illinois team that kind of got really loose last night. That's been their bread and butter all season long. How were you guys able to, or what was the scout to kind of take away that three-point line and not let them get hot like they have been?
Yeah, it was something we stressed, obviously, coming out from the tip, not allowing those threes, especially early. But I thought we were locked in. I mean, you saw that on the defensive end, which allowed us, out of our press when we were sprinting out of that, not giving up as many easy threes and just using our length. I thought we contested a lot of shots and moved, where we were able to get there on the pass.
Hey, Coach. Same question I gave the players. For you as a team that's always looking to improve, what are some of the areas that you would like to maybe see the team tighten up, to kind of elevate you guys to the next stage?
Yeah, there's always going to be areas for us to improve. I thought, some of the plays, the and one plays, I thought we gave up a few too many when they were able to get downhill. I think, being able to wall up. I think just continuing to keep playing the right way. I thought, defensively and offensively as long as we continue to play in these areas. I thought early the first half, we settled for too many outside shots to start the game, but they're very good of kind of understanding the rhythm and the flow through the timeouts. But I think we've got to get there earlier, kind of understanding the game plan, which we were able to eventually get to.
I got you going back and forth, don't I? Sorry.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Obviously, in the past few games, we've seen the emergence of Lavine off the bench. Today, the depth really showed off. Bench outscored them 28-0. You may not have wanted to go to Lavine and Bree so early in the game, 2 minutes in, but what kind of surprised you of their impact so early and how the bench was able to be so effective, really for almost the entire game, and just what does that kind of say about how the depth on this team continues to improve as we get later into the season?
Yeah, just huge, and I actually intentionally kind of wanted to get them in early just to get those nerves kind of out of the way, and just knowing how aggressive we wanted to be. But to be able to, obviously with Lav and Nay's experience, and then I thought Bree was just fearless tonight, and I think it says a lot about Bree. I mean, she found out when we touched down that she had lost a cousin as soon as we had gotten here to Minneapolis, so. I think she's playing with even a greater purpose, but I thought even going into this game from her last game, rewatching the game, she was so good, and I was hoping that was going to be the Bree that we would get, and I mean, she's got, she continues to kind of show as a freshman, she's got a big upside.
Question here.
Brenda, for somebody that's done the Illinois Scout twice in the last month, what are you seeing that they do that could potentially give somebody a problem in the NCAA tournament?
It's disappointing, obviously, for them to lose their depth. I'll say that because you need that, going through the tournament. But, I mean, they've got guard play that's just super dynamic and can score the basketball. I mean, they were on day 2 of legs today, but when you talk about Bryant and Cook and the combination of those two, they're such difficult matchups to have to be able to guard, and they share the basketball extremely well. They've really improved from the first time we played them with the press, so I think they got a chance to do some great things in the tournament.
I want to go back to the bench just one more time. What are the biggest, the biggest strides that particularly those 3 have made from back in November when, we kept talking about, hey, we need more, you need more from the bench, you need more from the bench?
I think Bree just alluded to it where she talked about not hanging on to past mistakes, and I think that's where we used to be, and I think we've been able to be really resilient coming out of those plays and not spiraling from them, and or if you're challenged in some sort of moment, they're able to rise up. So it just great, growth, maturity, and great confidence that I think they've really evolved and kind of understand how important they are to this team.
Right there.
Brenda, you know Iowa pretty well at this point. What's your expectation for tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to be a heck of a battle. And for us, it's going to feel like a road game when I saw all, and we know how close it is for their fans, and they travel extremely well. And obviously with Caitlin Clark, why wouldn't you come out and see her play? But 2 great teams, obviously split on each, everyone took their home court. So, again, I know the last time we played, they're going to have great pride to come into this game, and, both teams will be ready to play from the tip.
All right, we're going to go to Dylan on the Zoom call. Dylan?
Hey, Coach. Just wanted to really, get your thoughts on how you were able to plan for Genesis Bryant today. You're facing her for the first time this season. Obviously, she didn't play last time when Maryland played Illinois. So, just curious what your plan was, for guarding her today.
Yeah, really wanting to close long and be there on the catch. I mean, she's a great shooter, scorer, and like you said, didn't play the first time against us. We knew she could score the basketball. So, Just those two. That's why I think they'll go far in the tournament. Those two are just dynamic, athletic, really hard matchups to have to guard. So, I thought we were trying to get her out of the game, and we couldn't. And they're in the entire fourth quarter. So, I thought she was really disciplined, once she picked up her fourth, not to get her fifth.
Yeah, and another quick one. Same thing I asked Abby. How often does this team's IQ impress you, and how has it grown over the course of this season? Because I don't think in November, this team would be making plays like the one Shy did, throwing it off somebody's back and getting it for that layup.
Yeah, I was excited for Shy. That was a play she did when we recruited her in high school in AAU. So it told me, she was in her bag, she was confident, and when she's playing like that. But they've grown so much. You can see when they were diving into the post tonight and looking for each other and just kind of really playing well off of one another. So that growth, I think you're seeing that trust and that chemistry has really evolved.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to stay on the Zoom. And Damon, do you have a question?
Yes. Hey, Coach. 26 assists tonight. The ball seemed to be moving at a high rate. You all signify success, obviously, scoring and getting the victory. How dangerous is your offense when the ball is able to move at a rapid rate like that?
Yeah, I think we're really hard to guard when the ball is moving side to side, getting in the paint off of off the bounce. So really, really difficult to have to figure out. I think if you looked at this box score, just trying to, a lot of teams have spent a lot of time sagging and trying to make Diamond pass. And I thought this was one of Diamond's most flawless games. 5 assists, no turnovers or defense. I thought she was all over the game, but just that trust level is huge.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
If everybody else is done. Hey, Kent Youngwood from the Star Tribune here. There was some news here this week with the Gophers deciding to go a different direction. Must have hit you fairly hard given your relationship with Lindsay. You coached her. I was wondering if you could just comment on what your reaction was. And having coached here, you know what the potential of this market is, whether you think that is an attractive job going forward.
Yeah. I was disappointed. Obviously, the timing of it I thought was tough. Being here in Minneapolis and tournament, and I think it was just the very next day. So that was tough. I've reached out to Lindsay. I've talked to her by text. It's a tough business, but yes, it's a great job. Her and her staff. They've got a young core of kids in there right now. That freshman class. Thought she'd have a little more time to develop it, but they did a great job with that freshman class that got to spend a ton of time. So whoever walks into that, it's a very attractive job, and you can get the best players in the state of Minnesota and surrounding to be able to stay home. And you see where the Big Ten is right now and all the great teams. So this is where recruits want to play. Yep.
How important was it to get, you got kind of some of the reserves in, 5 minutes, 40 seconds level, 6 minutes, especially, potential for 3 games in 3 days to get, some of the starters those minutes to rest at the end of the game?
Yeah, big. We really talked about, we were hoping we would be able to be able to extend that, and I thought, they were really intentional about being able to do it and to be able to get some of that rest for Shy and Faith and within this game. And again, when we can extend our bench like that, it's big.
Hey, Coach. 8 different players scored for you guys tonight. How does this kind of not just being connected on the offense, but also the selflessness of this team, how does that help you guys continue to grow your game?
Yeah, I think it makes it tonight. They made the game look really easy. And again, a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in a quarterfinal game is that bodes really well. So when we just continue to keep taking what the defense gives us, that's how you're able to kind of get some relief there in those possessions on the offensive end. And I even thought defensively they were very connected, and really have been in this month of February, March with the schedule. They've really grown.
Any more questions from here? on the Zoom call. All right, thanks.
Thank you.